Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna tier rank every single book I read in 2022. So I have 5 tiers. The first one, which is pretty obvious, it's my favorites. The best of the best. Then I have great, which they were very good, but they didn't get there. Then I have good, which, kind of 3 stars. It was fine. Disappointing. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And no, I'm sure you're gonna see books there because I have every single book that I read, but I also put here the 4 books that I DNF'd. So let's just get on with it. So the first book that I have here is Caballo de Troya 1. It's really hard to explain these books. So I read like 10 of them. There are 12. I think only the 12 will be like great, but the others, I just feel like I have to reread them. So this series is about a time travel that it happened in the 80s to Jesus' time. But yeah, these books are great. I'm not sure I can say that they're my favorites because sometimes they are very painful, but yeah, the message is just amazing. So I think I'm gonna put like 9 of them in favorites and just like the 12. It's a whole thing. So I will put like the first one and I'm just gonna go through all of them very quickly because like I said, I have a lot of them. So I love the 4. I do remember that. I'm not gonna like put them in order or anything like that in the tier. I have seen that people do that, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. So the thing is that if you can see it, I have 9 and then I have 12. And the thing is that the 12th book just came out and it's actually part of the 9th book. So you read until a certain point in that book and then you read the 12 and then you finish the 9th. That's how it works. So yeah, I think this wasn't like the best. So I'm just gonna put it in great. Then I have The Music Box Volume 2, I guess. I really like this graphic novel, and mostly because of the artwork. I tend to gravitate to graphic novels more because of the artwork more than the story. So I really like this one. I think that is not like a weird thing that sometimes in graphic novels, the story is kind of, sometimes it lays flat for me. So yeah, that's, I think like the only reason that I would put it in good because I did like it, but it was more about the art style. I love it because it sometimes it kind of reminds me of Golden Hour. And also the character design for one of the characters, it was great. I really like it. And also the expressions of the characters, they're just like the best. They help, of course, to tell the story, but yeah, it wasn't that good. So yeah. Then I have the Little Mermaid sketchbook. There's not much to read in those books because it's more about showing off the sketches of the movie. For me, I love those kind of books, not because you don't have to read much, but because of the pre-production process. So yeah, I am gonna put that in great. Then I have In the Shadow of a Hoax. This is a new book that actually is going to be released this month, the 23rd, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I might put something here to tell you, but it's the second book in the Fairview fairy tales, and they're just great. I actually have the first book here too. In the Shadow of a Hoax, we see Tarly, she's the main character here, but she's one of the sisters. So it's her story and Lachlan, and it just became one of my favorites. Then I have The Love Hypothesis. It's not the book, it's actually just the bonus chapter from Adam's book. And I don't know what happened. When I read The Love Hypothesis, I really enjoyed it. I think it was one of my favorite books of that year. So I was very excited to read more of that. And yeah, for some reason I didn't like it as much. I don't know why, but seeing his perspective was like, he seemed kind of desperate. That's not a good color in anyone. So I don't know, maybe it just that what I understood, but yeah, I wasn't too fond of that. So I'm just gonna put it in good. Then I have The Demon of Reginald. I read this book because I had to make a review for that. And yeah, this book was a mess. Yeah, I'm definitely putting in the disappointing because it kind of said that it was like fantasy romance, and the premise is like there is this guy who, it's like middle ground between a mage and a demon or something like that. He does get a girl, but yeah, the whole thing is very weird. But mostly for me it just didn't land well because I felt like the romance wasn't very well explored, and for some reason then they just loved each other, and I was like, why? I don't get it. And I feel like the author, I think there's like two authors, they tried to put in that book like a whole series. I feel like it would have worked if you would have like just focused on something and maybe foreshadowing the rest. But yeah, I felt like it was too much and too little time to actually work on everything that was going on. So yeah, it was just disappointing for me. Then I have The Heart of the Winter Prince. This is the second book on that trilogy. The premise of the whole series is that fairies came back to Earth. They've been like banished, and when they came back, they start to take the land. They start to slaughter everyone, and it's a fantasy romance, so you know where things go. And each book follows a brother. So this is the second one. This is just me being picky. Every single brother, I think they have long hair, and I'm just, I don't like that. I really like them. I like him and Freya, which is like love interest, and each of the brothers have a curse. So his heart, I think it's getting like frozen, and he has like ice magic. I do like the books. I enjoy the first one. I did like the second one. Yeah, there was something about it was like very trafficking, like bodies and stuff, and it was like, yeah, I don't like that like at all. So I'm gonna put it in good. It was good. Then I have The Demigod Diaries by Rick Riordan. I think that Rick Riordan never fails to deliver. So there is like 4 stories, I believe, in this book. And one of them is Percy and Annabeth. And I love them. There is also Lux and Annabeth story. And seeing Annabeth so little, that was beautiful. So I'm going to put it in great. Then I have Crescent City. I reread this book in preparation for House of Sky and Breath. The first time that I read this book, I was like, I kind of hated Bryce the first 100 pages, I think. It did entertain me. I was following the whole story. I did like it. Finally, my 2 favorite characters are Danica and Lejaba. So, yeah. Yeah, I think I did enjoy it, though I'm not really a fan of Bryce and I don't like Hunt. The romance part was like non-existent for me. I love Rune and I love the boys, but yeah, there was just something missing. I'm gonna put that one in great. Usually I would have expected Sarah J. Maas books to be my favorite, but yeah, no. Then I have Demon Freaks. Again, another book that I had to read to make a review. The first 10% of that book was the most hilarious thing I have ever read. I thought I was in for the ride and that was going to be great. But no, things went like too out of the window. Everything got very weird and kind of ridiculous. No, it wasn't good. It was disappointing, for sure. Then I have Legacy. This is just like, it's supposed to be on a book that Aang from the Avatar, Last Airbender, wrote for his son Townsend. It's very good. It's sweet. It has like interactive stuff that you can take out from the book. And it's very cute. This was great. Then I have Art and Fear. This is actually nonfiction. And it's about the fears you have as an artist. This book helped me a lot. I really enjoyed it. I think I have to reread that book. It talks about all the insecurities and all the fears and all the and maybe the lack of confidence sometimes as an artist. Everything that comes with being an artist. So if you're an artist and you're going through a bad time, I highly recommend this book because it was great. And like I said, it helped me a lot with a lot of stuff that I was going through. Then I have In the Shadow of a Wish, which is the first book in the Fairview fairy tales. I really enjoyed this book. There were just a couple of things that kind of made me feel a bit uncomfortable. That's the only reason that it didn't become one of my favorites. It's a great book. I really love the story. We have Ori, which is one of the sisters, and Nyx, and they get caught into let's just call it like a bubble of time and space where they have to live together. Ori gets granted 3 wishes, but the tricky part is that with each one of the wishes comes it's not like a punishment, it's like a consequence of that, and she kind of has to pay that. Also, Nyx is a god, and he reminds me of Asriel, so yeah, I really like that book. And I have Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. I do enjoy historical fiction. The story itself, it was very charming, and I really like it. I felt like the main characters work really well together, and I like it enough to continue. So I'm gonna put that in great. Yeah. Then I have Kieran, another book that I had to read for to make a review for it. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in no. There was this is a sci-fi, and Kieran, she lives with her mom, but she goes to college with her best friend, and they live there, and they just like party girls. The bad part is that she gets like abducted by her father that she didn't even know he existed. Well, he kind of switched herself because he was going to take her mom, and there was a whole thing. And at the beginning, you know this guy, and you think like, oh, okay, he might be a love interest. Yeah, no. She gets into like this spaceship that's gonna take her to their world. You know, I don't even know exactly what race are they supposed to be. Every single man in the ship, of course, looks up at her, and they're like very interested in her. And her best idea to show them who rules here is like a miniskirt and like a see-through top and like super high heels, and I'm like, they literally want stuff from you. She has to marry someone and not procreate, but kind of. And then the story just goes very wild. The end was like ridiculous to me, and apparently that's a series, and I'm like, I'm not continuing that. Then I have The Whaler's Daughter, another one that I read for a review. This is a middle grade. Well, I think it's kind of historical fiction because apparently a lot of things that there are in the book are like real events. So that was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. This story didn't really stick with me much. Yeah, the ending was kind of very sad. So maybe disappointing. Then I have The Deal by Elle Kennedy. If you have seen any of my other videos, you might know that last year I was in complete road of Elle Kennedy. The Deal is the first in the off-campus series, and it's one of my favorites. I love Garrett and Hannah, and actually this book made me discover my love for sport romance. So yeah. And I have The Chase, which is the first book in the Briar U series, which is the next series after the off-campus. I really like that one. It's between Summer, who is Dean's sister, and Fitz. Fitz is an artist. So he actually talks a lot about how he's developing his video game and the whole concept art thing. And I just love that. And Summer, she's very chic. So I enjoyed her poof as well. It was very cute. I think it just needed something extra to make it to my favorites, but yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And I have The Mistake, the second book in the off-campus series. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. There was something very sad in Lauka's life, and I think I don't know why, but that did allow me to enjoy everything, though it has a happy ending. But yeah, also didn't make it into my favorites, but I really enjoyed that. Then I have Spy Family Volume 1. I've been obsessed with Spy Family, and I have watched like half of the first season, so I wanted to read the manga. I read the first one. I haven't been able to find the second one. Yeah, it's kind of the same of the anime. Honestly, I love the anime more. Of course, it moves, it has colors, it's beautiful, but yes, I enjoy this very much, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. Then I have The Score, the third book in the off-campus series. It's about Dean and Allie. I think, honestly, I like it. but it was like one of my least favorites. So I'm not sure if that will go in good or great. I think I'm gonna put it in good. Yeah. Then I have Hollow Box by Jessica Townsend. This is the third book in the Nevermore series. This was my least favorite out of all of them so far. I enjoy a lot of stuff, but it wasn't enough Hawthorne for me in this book. Also, at the end, there are some kind of politics that I didn't like it. I understand why, but I was like, in this book, Morgan she got very obsessed with the whole Wondersmith and her study. I thought it was great that she finally was going to get the education she needs, but yeah, I missed a lot of the other friends and the other stuff that was going on. So I'm gonna put it in great. Twisted Love. This was one of my DNFs from this year. I actually made a video about this book, but it was pretty much a rant. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna upload that. Yeah, you know that this is a no. I have never been so worried about a character in my whole life. I don't like this guy. Alex, I think it was his name. You know, I think that this cover is very misleading because I thought it was like not very fluffy, but kind of fluffy romance. And for me, this is kind of dark. Yeah, I didn't like him when they said, because I read like halfway through, when they said they were together, I was like sirens all over my head. And I was like, you should run like as far as you can get. So yeah, I didn't like this book. Mainly because I don't like him. I feel like he's like the worst thing that could have happened to her. So yeah. Then I have Take Back Your Book. This is a nonfiction about rights reversion and like self-publishing. I do like to read very random stuff. And this was one of them. I listened to the audiobook and it was very enlightening. I've never heard about rights reversing. It was something very different from the stuff that I read, and it was very enlightening. So yeah, I'm gonna say that this was good. Suki Alone. This is a short comic about Suki. It's her time in prison, and I just loved it. Yeah, this definitely made my favorites. I love her story because you can see flashbacks from when she was a small girl and how she has been formed by all of the things of her life. And the last page, that was perfect, and it fits perfectly in the whole series, the TV series. So I loved it. Good Boy. This is by Elle Kennedy and someone else that I don't remember. This is my other DNF. I have never encountered someone so exasperating. I didn't like this guy at all. Yeah, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Then I have Written in Red by Anne Bishop. I love this book. I love the main character. She's not your typical badass and she cannot do it all. She is just trying to survive. It was something very different in the way that she was vulnerable. And I love the other characters. I love Simon and Sam. I just kind of love everyone, and I do need to continue that series. So for that, it's going to my favorites. Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. Like I said, I read The Love Hypothesis, and I expected to love on the Brain. These books are very fun. That's something that I really like about them. Yeah, I don't really know much about STEM, and so they're completely like new ground for me. Many characters are hilarious. I love her assistant, which I don't remember her name right now, and her obsession with La Llorona. That was hilarious. I did like, the conversations and how they get to know each other. This is actually kind of fake enemies to lovers, because if you have read the book, So that was kind of disappointing for me. But also there are some things in this book that it just didn't sit well with me. Some very important stuff that happens and that should have like real consequences, and they just get a slap on the wrist and move on with your life. I don't know. It was kind of annoying. There's also other stuff that I wasn't very fan of. So I think I'm gonna put this on good. I did enjoy it. Then I have Stellar Loon, the 9th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. This book was too long. Honestly, I feel like the good stuff, it's like literally in the 30 last percent. The other 70 was just talking and more talking and fighting about what they did or what they're going to do, but like almost literally doing nothing. There was just some bits here and there that, okay, feels like we're moving along. For me, the last 30% is what works, and which actually was great. Only because of that, because something very good happens in that last 30%, I'm gonna put it in great. That's the only reason. And I have Consider Me, again, other DNF'd. This is a sport romance, just a good boy. It was fun. The kind of writing that I like. I don't know if it's me being picky. They met. He's a playboy. He likes every single woman. He sees her one night and he's a different man from now on. And you don't even let me know why. I did like her character, that she actually knows a lot about hockey. She has played hockey, so that was very interesting. But the students bothering her, I didn't like that. He gives her a full massage the next day after they met, and I didn't like that. But I don't remember what happened, but something happened that I didn't like, and I was like, I'm done with you. Then I have The Goal, the 4th book in the Off-Campus series. I know a lot of people don't like the surprise baby show. I don't mind. The only thing I didn't like about this book, it was Sabrina's stubbornness. Come on, we're in this situation together. I really like Tucker. I didn't thought I was going to like him so much. But yeah, there was just something missing. Also, her life is very sad. So yeah. And I have The Never King, a surprise thing that I never thought I would read, but I did. And this is a Peter Pan retelling. I've been obsessed with Peter Pan retellings. And I actually was looking for like Hook, Wendy retelling. I couldn't find them. At least not something that I like. There is something there that I'm going to talk about that later. I read it. It's a reverse harem, which kind of kept me off a little bit because I don't like it. I remember I was in a lot of pain and I was like, you know what, just give it a shot. It was very entertaining. Surprisingly, it did its job of actually take my mind somewhere else. I did like Pan. I like Pan a lot. The twins and Vane, I will just remove him from once and for all. I don't. So I'm gonna put The Never King in good. Then I have The Sleeping Beauty. This is also a sketchbook, but it does have words in it. I love this one. The art style, it's just beautiful. It will be weird to put it anywhere else than there. Then I have Memento. This actually ignited my love for this series. This explains so much. I actually was waiting to finish Obsidio and then to read this one. It was amazing. I love it. It's a short thing. I think it has 50, 70 pages, something like that. But it was amazing. So I'm just gonna put it in favorites. Then I have Let's Play Season 3. I know a lot of people is obsessed with Lore Olympus because it's a webcomic. I'm obsessed with Let's Play. This is about a game developer. That's the basic of the first season. She has this video game, and there is this guy who is like YouTuber for video games, and he tries her game. He didn't understand how to play it, so he gives her a bad review. Now they're neighbors, and yeah, things get fixed. But what I like about this is Charles. I don't know, I feel like their relationship is going very well. And even though in this picture it looks like a love triangle, which I don't really like at all, it hasn't happened that so far. And I really hope it doesn't. I'm gonna put it in great just because my love triangle, which kind of might have started, and I don't really like that. So that's the only reason I'm gonna put it in great. Then I have Wonders Me, the 2nd book in the Nevermore series. I love that one. That one is one of my favorites. I just obsessed with that. Then I have The Risk, the 2nd book in the prior US series. When I read The Chase, I was sure that that was the only one that I was going to read in the second series. I wasn't really interested in the rest. But in the first chapters of the book, you meet Brina, which is the main character for The Risk. And you do see Jake as well. And their banter in that book was amazing that I had to read the next one, which is this one. The first 100 pages were kind of slow for me. But after that, it just picked up and it was great. It's one of my favorites out of all of L. Kennedy's books. Then I have Hooked. This is again a Peter Pan retelling with Hook and Wendy. And this is one of my DNFs. So I'm gonna put it in no. This guy is like, I don't want to say a mafia boss, maybe. They have this drug and like the pixie dust. She's not naive, but she's cute and he is awful, and at some point he kills someone just because of yes. I don't like it. He's definitely a villain, but he's not an interesting villain. I don't care about this. Then I have The Wings of the Winter Prince. This is the third book. It is the next one after The Heart of the Winter Prince. I think this is my least favorite out of all of them. I know that I finished this book just because with that I finished the series. So I think I might have DNF'd it. Otherwise, I did like that the main character got more physical attributes because each may get some kind of the magic from one of the princes. And she gets the wings, which was amazing. Oh, and she cuts his hair. Some of the things went just like too easy for me. So that's why I think I didn't really like it so much. So yeah, that wasn't good. Then I have The Legacy, the fifth book in the Off-Campus series. I loved it. I think that what I loved the most, of course, was Hannah's and Garrett's story. I would have finished this book differently. I think I'm going to do a video about this book because I have a lot of things to say about that. But yeah, I think I'm going to put this in great. So I have Frame Eating. This is completely nonfiction. It's pretty much about composition, how to arrange stuff in an illustration to tell a story. It was great. I love it. I honestly don't think that there's anywhere else I could put this. Then I have this short chapter of A Long Compromise, a long commitment. I'm going to put the title somewhere because I don't remember. And I read this because I was reading Queen of Air and Darkness, and when I read way back City of Bones, I didn't like Jason. Clary was fine, but I didn't care. I never finished the Mortal Instruments. So I was reading Queen of Air and Darkness, and it turns out that now I love Jason Clary. It was very cute, and actually that explains something, that it was set in Lord of Shadows, I believe. I think it was good. Yeah. Then I have another little chapter, which is Reden's chapter. This is like from Daughter of the Pirate King, Reden's perspective of the first chapter. It reminded me of how much I love this book. So now I do want to read the second one. I enjoy it so much, so it's going to great. Then I have the second book of the Peter Pan retelling, and it's the dark one. The second one started to... The more that I'm in this kind of world and the whole reverse harem and stuff, I like it less and less and less. I put that in this one, was disappointing. I feel like the main character has no self-preservation. And also, all of them, because of 4 men, they're obsessed with her. They love her so much, and I don't know why. There is nothing about her on these books. I just don't get it. I don't think this can work at all. Okay, the premise of the first book is that he doesn't have a shadow. So he's kind of dying. Oh, it was hilarious for me. Also, I think the fact that it was hilarious to me might not be something hilarious for other people. And that is because sometimes I would laugh when things were kind of sexy or kind of intimidating. And I was like, okay. And the other thing, it was Peter Pan's oh yes, I'm dying and whatever. And he's kind of sick. And then he goes my cigarettes. And I was like, are you sure it's because you don't have your shadow? I think it might be lung cancer. So yeah, I will laugh for stuff like that. And in the second book, he finally gets his shadow, which is great. And that would be the only reason I would read the third book. At the end, Winnie, which is the female main character, she also gets a shadow. And now she will be as powerful as they are. And I couldn't care less. Then I have Wrap Up for the Holidays. I read this mainly because El Kennedy has a chapter there, and it's from the characters of The Mistake. If you want to know about that, but you don't want to read this book, read The Legacy. The story is there. It was funny. There's something that I appreciate about her writing, but yeah, it was good. Then I have The Little Mermaid, the full script. I love it. It has the script, it has the songs, it has concept art and a little bits of detail of how they made the animation. So I just loved it. I put it in favorites, right? Yeah. Then I have The Prison Healer. This was a surprise for me. I didn't expect to love this book so much. It also made me laugh. It made me cry. It was great. It was kind of hard at some points. I would have put it in favorites, but literally the last page, it made me very worried. I feel like, I don't know if it was only me, but with that last page, I was like, do I know you at all? A lot of things before that, I was enjoying the book so much. But that last page, I was like, now I'm worried about the prince. So I'm going to put it in great. Then I have The Kiss Curse. The Ex-Hex is one of my favorite books. I just love it with my heart. So I was excited about The Kiss Curse. And that was very, very disappointing. I don't know. The romance, I couldn't buy it. I don't know why. I find it a lot of things funny. The way that everything got resolved at the end, I was like, that's it. That was just too easy. I don't know. Then I have When in Rome. I really enjoy this book. It's by Sarah Adams. I love her writing. It's completely hilarious. But I feel like something was missing. Just a tiny thing. I completely love it. And at the same time, I feel like it didn't get to my favorites. So yeah, this was great for sure. Then I have Smart Girls Don't Kiss Aliens, which is like a parody for Ice Planet Barbarians, and this was fun. I mean, it was okay. It was funny. I loved the alien and the cat. That was, I think, the best part. Oh, and the baby. There is a little kid that is with them, and that was, I think, the best part of that thing. But yeah, I would say it just was good. The Off Limits Rule. I wanted to read more from Sarah Adams. So I read The Off Limits Rule. I can say that the female main character of this book is the weirdest character I've ever read about. She's so weird with her interactions with him, with Cooper, but it's hilarious. I feel like if you read that book and maybe then read the cheat sheet or When in Rome, you can see how she has grown as an author, because The Off Limits Rule was missing something. I enjoyed for sure. But I'm not going to read the next one in that series because I don't feel it has everything that it needs. So I think this one I'm going to put in good because it wasn't as good as When in Rome. Then I have The Cheat Sheet, what sparked my love for Sarah Adams. This is one of my favorite books. I love Friends Lovers, and I feel like it was just so great. I love both of them, and their story, it was amazing. Sans Cabri. This is a graphic novel. I think it's a French graphic novel. I got it through NetGalley and I read it again. The artwork was the thing that got me into it, but the story is really good. At some point I was pretty lost, but I was like, I need to know what's going on. The fact that I feel like I would read the next installment to find out what it's actually going on, it tells a lot. So I'm gonna put that in great. Then I have Bringing Down the Duke. This is like a short story for their wedding. It was very sweet. I would say that this was good. It was very sweet. It was very charming. Yeah, they do have some kind of issues going on, but yeah, I did enjoy it. Then I have Queen of Earth and Darkness. I don't know where to put this. Okay, no, I do know. It's going to great. I didn't love it. There were a couple of things that I was like, no, why? It made me suffer so much. I do think that this book was very long. While I was reading, I was like, yeah, I would have just cut that. But when I was done with the book, I was like, okay, yeah, those bits do add up. Then I have Cute Chibi Mythical Beast. This is a nonfiction, and it's pretty much a book that teaches you how to draw in Chibi style. That's definitely not my style, and I feel like that made things interesting. I understood a lot of things, but I felt like there were some just things missing. Again, I think that's me being picky right here, because I think I would explain things in a different way, but then I thought that maybe people who are not artists might not understand that. I felt like I wanted more from that book. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in good. Then I have the Ballad of Never After. I really enjoyed that book. I didn't thought I was going to, because Once Upon a Broken Heart, I like it, the whole fairy tale-esque aspect, but there was something missing for me, and that was because of Jax. In the first book, he's very cruel, so I couldn't really enjoy the romance, and I thought that was going to happen as well in the Ballad of Never After, and it didn't. He kind of opens up, and he does save her a lot of times, but for some reason it wasn't tiring for me. It did make it into my favorite. Then we have British Bedmaid. The cover kind of won me over. This book was great. It's a romance between a doctor and a nurse. I would say that the first half is like more funny and spicy, and the second half is more cute and romantic. So I would have liked that there were more intertwined, but I really enjoy it. So I'm gonna put that in great. And then the last one is the graphic novel for the Grishaverse, The Demon in the Wood. I was interested in the story for a long while, but I never read it. And the graphic novel gave me the push that I needed. I love the art style. I really enjoyed the story. I love the Darkling, and who doesn't? It was great to see a little bit of his story. So this one goes straight up to my favorites. I think this will be the whole list. That is it. I'm not sure if I'm missing something, but this is the overall thing. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was very fun to make. It was very long. I guess I'll let you go, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.